Hi, I'm Jennifer Elliott, and welcome to part 2 of Intro to Chakras. There are 7 chakras, and so this is the second in our series of 7. The first chakra was Muladhara, located at the base of the spine. The color was red, and the qualities, the energy was all about grounding and feeling really connected to the earth. As we move up our spine, we're now at the lower abdomen, at the lower back, and we have found our sacral chakra. The color is orange. And we move out of that earth energy more into our watery nature. So really finding our ability to let go and go with the flow. So we'll have a lot of dynamic movement today. This is basically a short level 1 practice just to introduce some of the concepts of the second chakra, Swadhisthana or sweetness, into your practice. So let's go ahead and begin. So I'm sitting cross-legged on a folded blanket. That just helps my lower back. And a lot of our focus today is the hips, but the hips affect the lower back. So always making sure we feel comfortable there. So crossing at the ankles, hands on the thighs. Let's go ahead and close the eyes. Take a few moments here and just reconnect with your root center. Feel the base of your body grounding down. And even though we're focused on finding movement and the ability to let go, that still comes from a nice foundation. So as you're rooting through your seat, reach up through the crown of the head and just observe the movement that's already within. Even though you're finding stillness, you might notice the breath creates a rhythm, the heartbeat, the thoughts. And so it's really just this illusion of being still. There's always movement within. And so let's just create a little gentle movement with the breath. Let's take a nice full inhale through the nose. Open the mouth and let it out. Again, in through the nose. Open the mouth and let it out. One more, in through the nose. Hold at the top. Sip a bit more breath in through the nose. Sip a bit more breath in. Open the mouth and let it all out. Then take an inhale through the nose. And an exhale back out. Let your breath find its own pattern now. And go ahead and blink the eyes open. Turn the palms up and lift them off of your lap. So it's essentially no hands. Take an inhale. Sit tall through the spine. Exhale. Draw the lower abdomen in as you rotate the chest to the right. Inhale. Grow tall again. Lengthen through your base. Exhale. Revolve to the right again. Drawing the navel in. One more. Inhale. Lift and lengthen. Exhale the belly and continue to twist to the right. Right hand can go on the floor behind you. Left hand to the outer right knee. So sit tall through the spine, find length, and exhale, gently twist. We'll take one more breath. Now as you're here, stay as you are, but lift your hands. Just see what you can do on your own without forcing, and then slowly unwind. Okay, hands behind you, switch the cross of the ankles, hands on thighs, turn them up, lift the hands. Inhale, sit tall. Exhale, navel in, twist to the left. Inhale, tall. Exhale, continue to your left. One more. Inhale and exhale. Left hand behind you, right hand to the outer knee. Sit tall, find length. Inhale. Exhale, navel in as you twist. Couple of breaths here on your own, just noticing how the breath initiates the movement, or we'd like the breath to initiate the movement if it wasn't already. Lift the hands, but maintain your twist. And then gradually unwind. All right, nice job. So you can move the blanket out from underneath you. Place your hands to the side of your mat. Just sit up tall. Reach the right arm high, crawl the left fingertips over, and just get a nice side body stretch. Then bring yourself through center and over to the other side. And then do that a couple more times on your own. Just linking the breath and the movement. One more on each side. And then bring both hands up, reach up, flex through the feet. If you have any low back disc-herniations, you might just put your hands on your knees and sitting tall. Otherwise, hands go in front of you. I'm going to walk my hips back just so I have a little bit more space. You can forward fold as much as you'd like in front. And so you can really feel the hips now. So we've moved into our hips. We think of the legs for root chakra. They're about grounding and really connecting us to Mother Earth. The hips are all about our needs, our desires, sort of marking that motivation for locomotion. So we can think of maybe the baby that's just starting to crawl. We have a need, a desire, something we want to go see and do. The baby goes over there to see what that is. So we're really sort of coming out of our cocoon into the second stage. And then bring yourself back to center, cross the other way. Reach the arms up, sit tall, hands either on the thighs or right in front of you. Walk the fingertips forward. Pull the chest through. Just a couple of breaths here. Our second chakra, Swadhisthana, is all about your emotions. So being able to discern how you are feeling, not physically, but emotionally in your body, in your practice. Go ahead and walk your hands back. Find your way to hands and knees. When you get to hands and knees, today I'm pretty much just going to use a couple of blocks. I always have a blanket handy because I want it for my knees, and then a strap for the end. So spread the fingers wide as you come into table pose. Stay connected with your root because we're always building upon what came before it. So we started with our foundation before and now we're applying that movement. Take an inhale, pull the chest forward, reach the tail back. Exhale, round, draw the navel in. And just do that on your own now. Inhale, exhale. One more, inhale. Exhale, round back. Pause here, forehead down. Spread wide through the fingers, really root through the palms. And then we're going to add a little bit of dynamic movement because it's really about the movement today. Inhale, come to hands and knees, rather lift your heart. Exhale, tuck the toes. Lift your hips up and back into a mild down dog. So root through the palms, lift up through the hips, and start to pedal out the feet. Just get a little bit of movement in the lower legs. And we're actually pumping the blood up the legs, so still connecting to that fluid within here. All right, and then bring your knees down to the ground. Inhale, lift your heart, navel pulls in and up. Exhale, and round, shift it back. Okay, we're going to add that into a quick dynamic movement. Inhale, lift the heart, gaze up. Exhale, tuck the toes, lift up and back, down dog. Inhale, hands and knees, lift the heart, gaze up. Exhale, round, child's pose. Okay, twice on your own. Just follow your breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more. We'll meet in child's pose. When breath stops, movement stops. This could be considered a vinyasa, linking breath and movement. All right, and when you get to child pose, let's come back up, hands and knees. Lift the heart, gaze up, tuck the toes, lift up and back, downward facing dog. Gaze up to the top of your mat, step to the top of your mat. Hands on shins or even these blocks are available. Come up halfway, soften the knees as you pull your chest forward and fold. Inhale, lift the heart, pull it through and fold. Hands to hips, lead with the heart, come all the way to stand. Okay, nicely done. So standing at the top of your mat, maybe having those props available for later at the top of the mat. Big toes touch, a little space between the heels. Spin the inner thighs back, lift the navel in and up, arms by your sides. We'll move into a basic Surya Namaskar. We'll slow it down at first, but again, our path today is all about finding movement and letting go, going with the flow. So that may mean that it's maybe not the strictest of alignment, and that's okay. Inhale, reach the arms high. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, step back to plank, top of a push-up. Now you can stay here or put your knees on the ground. In either case, tip forward and go slow to the floor. Elbows hug the body on the way down. When you arrive on your belly, reach back through the toes. Hands are under the elbows. Lift the shoulder heads. Take an inhale, lift the heart, the navel, root through the feet. Low cobra, and release. Dynamically again, inhale, lift the heart and the navel. And exhale, release. One more. Inhale, lift. And release. Press up hands and knees or plank if you're ready. Spread wide through the fingers, tuck the toes under, down dog. Now we're going to keep it. So do a lot of dynamic movements to get the blood going, a little warm in the body. And then we find these static movements just to settle in and see how we're feeling. So we have our hands or shoulder width apart. Our feet are hip width apart. Press the thigh bones back. Spin the inner thighs back. So even here, as I push the thighs back and I spin the inner thighs back till the heels widen, heels are lining behind the second toe. But this movement of the legs, this is helping my lower back, that sacral chakra area. Let's take another breath. High to the toes, bend your knees, look forward, step or hop, top of the mat. Inhale up halfway, chest forward. Exhale, fold. Root to rise. Inhale, arms reach to the sky, navel it up. And exhale, hands to heart. How are you feeling? Let's get into those emotions. Emotions are emotion in motion, so let's find them. Arms by your sides. Inhale, rise, palms press. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, step to plank or come to your knees. Shift forward, lower. Inhale, find your back bend. Exhale, lower. Come up, plank or table, downward facing dog again. All right. So as we find ourselves in the second center, our issues are all about our ability to move, change, to adapt. So especially in the times that we're in right now, learning to pivot, sort of change in our settings with what's going on around us. We have to release our control a little bit. It's our control on the outcome that creates our own suffering. And so if we can let go and just sort of see where things take us, then we're a little bit more open to receive. Come high to the toes, bend your knees, step or hop, top of the mat. Inhale up halfway, exhale, fold. Root to rise, reach the arms to the sky, palms press, and exhale, hands to heart. One more. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, up halfway. Exhale, plank. Plank or knees, shift forward, lower to the floor. Find your back bend. Maybe it's Sphinx or up dog if you're ready, but take care of you. How does your low back feel? Downward facing dog. All right. Let's bring our right leg up halfway and step your foot right to the center of the hands. You may need to grab the ankle and boost it the rest of the way up there. So once you get the knee stacked over the ankle, if you have blocks, frame your front foot. Now we're going to drop the back heel down and come on up, warrior two. Okay, so check out that your front heel intersects the back arch. Sink real deep into your front lunge. But again, we're not going to stay here long because it's all about that movement. So inhale, straighten, reach the arms up. Exhale, sink back in. Inhale, reach. And like you're pushing through water, press the palms down. One more. Inhale. And exhale. All right, tip it back. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, side angle. So continuing with that movement. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, side angle. One more. Inhale. This time, exhale. Bring your right hand back down to the blocks. Follow with your left. Come up onto the back toes so that you're in a lunge. And we're just going to move these blocks forward so I can step back into down dog. Take a couple of breaths here, see how you feel. And then inhale, reach the left leg up. Exhale, step it to the center of the hands. Make sure your blocks are available. Drop the back heel down, come on up. Warrior two. Sink into your lunge, find your stance, front heel to back arch. And then straighten the leg, reach up, inhale. Push through that water on exhale. Inhale, rise. Exhale, press. One more. And then inhale, tip it back, maybe right arm behind the back. Exhale, side angle. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, side angle. One more. All right, this time come all the way down. Come up onto your back toes. We're gonna leave the blocks this time and step back into down dog, but feet together. Give yourself a couple of breaths here. I'm already getting a little bit warm. How about you? And you can step up between your hands, but I'm going to use these blocks. Make sure they don't tip. So you want to be nice and rooted, but we're going to practice jumping up. See, you can see my blocks are not quite rooted. I need to really root into them. Inhale, come high to your toes. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward, step or hop, top of the mat. Okay, really nice. If you did that and it sounded like this, we want to go back again. When there's a sound, there's a force. So we want to make sure things are really light, like we're landing on water, right? So inhale, high. Exhale, bend your knees, quiet as a mouse, hop. Good. Inhale, pull your chest forward. Exhale, fold. Root to rise. Reach the arms to the sky. Palms press. And exhale, hands to heart. The thumbs right against the breast line. Maybe close the eyes and just feel the heartbeat. Do you feel what's moving within? All right, blink the eyes open. Release the hands. We're going to move into tree pose. Now you can stay in the center of the mat. You're welcome to use a wall. But I love tree when it relates to our second chakra. One, it's going to get into our hips, but I like the visualization of tree when it comes to thinking of first chakra and second chakra, and I'll show you why. So ground through your left leg. Pop onto your right toes, hands on hips. Externally rotate the right leg, heel to ankle, firm everything into the center line, just like we found when we were in a root center, grounding into the ground. Lift up through the crown of the head. Find your drishti. Where is that point in front of you you can use for focus? This may be it. Or slide your foot above the ankle or above the knee. Nothing on the knee. Keep your pelvis forward. Wrap the right buttock under. Lift the navel. Lengthen the spine. Now hands are up to you. I'm just simply going to keep them at my chest, but you can also grow your branches high. So in this pose, visualize that your roots are running down through your feet into the earth, plugging you into Mother Earth, connecting to that root center. But what's also the job of those roots is to pull that moisture, that nutrients, that water up the tree, up the body, to nourish all the way to the tops of those leaves, right? We want to reach down to rise up. So take a moment here, and if you sway a little bit, don't worry, trees sway in the wind, embrace the movement. That's our goal today. So take just a couple more breaths. Really visualize drawing those nutrients up the leg, all the way up to the fingertips, or even just through the crown of the head, depending on where you were with the arms. All right, bring the leg back, pedal it out. How'd we do? So ground through the right leg, we're switching sides, hands on hips. Pop under the left toes, externally rotate. Firm everything into the center. So ground, reroot. Find your drishti. Where's that point that you can gaze at? And then from there, stay or slide the foot up above the ankle or the knee. All right, firm everything in, lengthen upwards. Your choice where the hands go, but visualize drawing that water up the body, through the fingertips, all the way to the top. So we have our sacral chakra, Swadhisthana. The element is water. The color is orange. And each chakra has an obstacle to overcome. And in the center, it's guilt. And I'll explain why in a moment. Go ahead and bring yourself back to center. Step down, pedal out the feet. If using blocks is for you, place those in front of you. Take your legs out wide. Turn the toes in just a little bit. Firm the outer ankles in to firm the side hips in. Again, we're still in this section of the body. Lift the chest, inhale, and exhale, forward fold. Hands on the blocks or floor. Pull your chest through and lengthen, and exhale, fold. Right down through the center. All right, so take a few breaths here in your forward fold. All right, so in your forward fold, notice, are your feet turning out or can you firm them in? Observe how you're feeling. So with that obstacle to overcome, this is also where your reproductive organs are. This is also about your sexual experiences. Think of fluids of the body. So it's all fluids of the body, including those sexual secretions. So needs and desires are also what we're talking about in this section. So are you open to your needs, to your desires? Sometimes when we feel resistance from ourselves or from others, it gives us a sense of guilt or shame. And so that's why sort of the obstacle to overcome here is that guilt. Do you feel that you are allowed to have those needs or desires, whatever they are? What are those emotions? One more breath. Come up halfway, hands on floor or blocks. Hands to your hips, lead with your heart, and slowly come on up. Okay, step your feet in, work out your ankles. All right, so let's go ahead and find our way onto our hands and knees. My blocks are here, so I'm just gonna use them. And I had a blanket handy, I'm gonna use that too. So from hands and knees, I'm gonna cross the right leg in front of the left. I'm gonna separate the feet and try to sit between the feet. You usually end up sitting on a foot, so I'm gonna sit on a folded blanket if I can. If this feels like a lot for you, just straighten the bottom leg. The idea is just to get this top leg to cross over. Okay. So stretching that hip, sitting up tall, or you can forward fold. Find your breath here. Close your eyes and see how you're feeling. So a lot of these chakras are developing as we are, as human beings. And so the second center is being developed when we're maybe around 6 months to a year and a half years old. And so that's, again, when that movement, we begin to crawl or walk around, has to do with our needs and desires, what we want, right? And so a lot of our coping mechanisms also begin at that stage, right? What home life did we have? Did it feel safe? Were our needs met, right? What type of household did we have? Was there abuse or alcoholism or sexual dysfunction? Different things that can be happening during that time sort of start to shape and form how we respond to things. Okay, so we're gonna have a fun way to get out of this. If you get lost, I'll get you back, so don't worry. I'm moving my props out of my way, just because I know better. I'll run into them. So whatever leg is on top, that hand is going in front, the other hand is going behind. And I'm gonna go in the direction of the open legs. If I go the other way, I don't go anywhere. Remember, this is all about going with the flow. So right hand in front, left hand behind, you're moving to your left. So lift up onto your feet, walk your hands around, keep walking, keep going. Bend your back knee and have a seat on the other side. Okay, how did we do? If you didn't make it, just find side 2 on your own, left leg over right. And let's just explore how we feel here. So if you are healthy in the second chakra, you might have really good personal boundaries. So obviously if you're not as balanced as you like to be, you might have poor boundaries, whether it just be boundaries with you and friends, or maybe it could be sexual boundaries, things like that. So creating your strong sense of self. This is also where our emotions come up, and so our ability to fully feel our emotions on that broad spectrum. A lot of times emotions come up and we sort of push them down. We don't allow ourselves to feel them. But if emotions aren't expressed, they're repressed, and that's when they start to manifest in the body. My hips are manifesting a little bit of anger at me in the moment. They don't want to be in this pose any longer. So see how you're feeling. All right, start to unwind those legs. Bring soles of the feet together into a wide butterfly. So we are, again, talking sacral, which is sort of, the sacrum is that triangular piece of bone right at the base of your spine, and that's connected with the front lower abdominal. So I could bring my feet close to me, which would get the hips, which relates to our chakra, but since we did some of the hips, I'm going to take the feet more forward, so when I stretch, I can target this lower back area, that sacral area. So feet are far away. I'm going to fold in however you want. You can use props, you can slide the arms underneath. It's really just personal preference. Sometimes we don't know how we feel, and so you can use signals to sort of find your way within. So the first signal would be, how do you physically feel? So you might notice a pull or an ache or a sharp pain or pins and needles. Whatever that physical feeling is, start with that. And then see what's behind it. There's nothing physically that happens that doesn't have an emotional response. So does that feeling make you happy or sad or angry? Just start to notice. And then you can even go deeper than that. Does that feeling have a color, a texture, a memory? Oftentimes people come to class and they get real emotional or start crying when we get into the hips and they don't even know why. And maybe what was stored there is not from today or yesterday. Maybe it's from decades ago, and your body is ready to let it go. And slowly come on up. And you'll straighten the right leg out in front of you, pull the left leg into a half butterfly. If you're rounding in the lower back, we want to protect it. So I'm going to sit on the edge of my blanket. So at the very edge of the blanket, the right leg is forward. I'm going to reach the arms up, revolve the chest a little right, and take a nice forward fold. I can reach for the foot. I can even use my strap over the foot, whatever makes the most sense for you. All right, just another couple of breaths. And then lead with your heart, come up. So switch sides, left leg is straight, right knee is bent. Reach the arms up, revolve a little left and forward fold. You can reach for the foot, you can use your strap. Hips are really interesting. The hip socket itself doesn't really fuse until puberty, and to me this is interesting because I feel like at puberty we start to get a little bit more set in our ways. So it's almost when we sort of internally get a little bit more rigid, our body gets more rigid. And then as we age, the hips are one of the places we lose mobility. So again, are we rigid? Are we fearful of change? Do we have the ability to adapt to what is, not what we want it to be? All right, bring yourself to center. You can bend your knees, move those props out of your way. We'll find our way onto our back. Take a moment here, just bend the knees, place your hands at your lower abdomen, close the eyes. It's almost as if you were just giving yourself energy. Feel the heat from the palms radiate down into the lower abdomen, to the lower back. Take an inhale into the lower belly. Let the lower belly rise into the hands. And exhale, the lower belly grunts down to the earth. Inhale, lower belly rises. Exhale, ground it down. Inhale, lower belly lifts, last time. And exhale, ground. Let the breath take on its own pattern a moment. Draw the knees to the chest. Take the hands on the knees, cup the knees, push the knees away from you, split them apart and circle them around. Push, split, and circle. One more. Pull the knees in, split, and circle the other way. Again, feel that movement. Have you noticed what kind of range of motion you might have compared to those you know? It has nothing to do with how good of a yogi you are. It just really has to do with those hip sockets. How did they form? Let's take the knees towards the armpits. Reach for the feet. Soles of the feet face the ceiling. If this feels like a lot, hold your calves or slide that strap over the feet. Rock side to side. Massage out the kidney band. Those kidneys and adrenals are the endocrine glands that are governed by the sacral chakra. Press your feet lightly into the hands. Take another couple of breaths. Knees to the chest. If you have a little twist or anything you'd like to end with, go for it. Otherwise, start to bring yourself into Shavasana. And as you're in Shavasana, you can stay here as long as you'd like. I'm going to roll up, and as you're in Shavasana, I'm going to read a little quote. So take a moment here and just observe, check back in. Feel that fluid within. So you can feel the heartbeat. Maybe you even notice the lymph, the blood, the breath, the thoughts, all those things that are creating rhythms within. You might even feel a little gentle rocking side to side as you feel the movement happening within. The fluid along the spine waves up to the head a couple of times, waves down the spine to the sacrum. You might even start to feel that gentle rocking. Emotions are energy in motion. If they are not expressed, they are repressed. To deny emotion is to deny the ground and vital energy of our life. Movement and change stimulate awakening. To find consistency in change is to embrace the unfolding flow. Thank you for sharing your emotions with me today, your journey along your chakra path. If you're seated as I am, lift your heart, bow your head, and namaste. Thank you, yogis. I hope you'll join me for the third chakra, Manipura, where we'll get all into our terrible twos. We're starting to get into our sense of self, our ego, our will, me. So I hope to see you in the next video series. Otherwise, namaste.